Back to the conversation about Microsoft. Kevin Simpson, I toss it to you. So stock's down, Azure revenue, the growth is down. That's what one of the problems is. You sold a covered call in Microsoft ahead of the number.
Yeah, we didn't think the number was going to be great, but we didn't think it was going to be this bad, Scott. So I think I agree with Jim. If anything, it's a stock that we'd be looking to add to at this point. We wrote a call going into it. Obviously, we're going to collect that premium. I think that there's tremendous opportunity still with Azure. It's slowing down. That's problematic, but I think it's because they can't keep up with the demand. And you've been raising the red flag on this stock for a while, and I think at this point you were right, and I think we're looking probably to get back into the names.
Okay, so we'll watch it, obviously. What are you thinking about, Josh, as you see a stock down near 6%? I mean, if there was, a question about, look, there's a lot of questions about Apple. We'll get to that. But if there's a question about one of the hyperscalers directly in the AI game, maybe this was the one that had the most to live up to, given DeepSeek and the questions about Microsoft's already, sort of changing relationship as it relates to OpenAI.
Yeah, look, I think that there was a moment where we all collectively kind of agreed, oh, wow, Microsoft made this early equity investment in OpenAI. They kind of wrapped up Sam Altman, and they are in the driver's seat for this technological revolution. And as a result, the stock galloped ahead, got a big valuation, and then all of the plans to spend and spend and spend like there's no tomorrow started to ultimately weigh on this company. And I've pointed this out before. If we're worried about the AI driven market advance, then this would be ground zero. When does Microsoft decide it's time to spend a little bit less? We didn't get that this time, but what we did get was slightly less good guidance going forward on the Azure business, and as a result, we have the worst individual trading day for Microsoft since 2022. I think it's notable. I think the company's okay. Stock price might not be okay. It's been consolidating since April of last year. Now it's at the lower end of that consolidation range, and you really don't want to see it break below meaningfully, because what that would imply is not that there's some fundamental issue with the company, but it would imply a downward re-rating. And we're no longer excited about the AI prospects here as a shareholder base. Now we're more concerned at what the cost is going to be and where is the ROI as a result. So forward revenue outlook guidance cuts are almost always negative in the short term. I don't think that I would be playing this stock for a quick bounce, but I think longer term it'll be okay. So if you're like a trader, I think it's off your list right now. If you're a long-term investor and you don't own it, it should be on your list. And that's the different perspectives that I think are worth having after what we've just heard.
We've wondered what the CapEx fallout might be, Liz, as it relates to DeepSeek. The CFO of Microsoft said CapEx would be similar for the next 2 quarters. It's probably too soon for them to kind of reassess how much the goalposts might have moved, how much the game may have changed, but at least it's not changing in terms of the spend right now.
Yeah, well, CapEx is going to come under scrutiny, I think, for the entirety of the year, and it has been since the middle of last year for all of these AI names, and Microsoft is obviously not immune to that. To Jim's point earlier, the flows into passive ETFs, and I want to be clear, software was one of my calls and still is one of my calls for 2025. So if you look at a software ETF, ticker IGV, Microsoft is a top holding in that ETF, so it's pulled down today. I still believe software will be a beneficiary of this, but there's obviously going to be some bumps in the road and sort of this handoff between software companies that could be the next phase beneficiary and the ones that are benefiting perhaps today, semiconductors and that theme. So this CapEx question continues to be the thing that investors will queue on. And the other piece that I want to mention about this particular earnings season, companies are getting punished a lot more than usual for missing even on some of those just little line item details. And I think that will continue as well. So these expectations are high.